You still don't get it, do you? None of you do. We know what needs to be done and we do it. We're the ones who live. You sit here and you hesitate. But you want to live? You want to keep this place standing? We have to control who subscribes here.
That's never been more clear to me than it is right now.
Me? You mean me? If you don't subscribe, well, you'll miss out on a great channel. I gotta do it anyway. All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again. Here to bring you another video. So this is going to be my video review for the finale of The Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 16, which is, of course, called Conqueror. Okay, so I'll admit, I was a little excited. Just a little bit. Okay. Great. So first thoughts on the finale. I loved it, man. 90-minute finale, and it was used wisely. There weren't really any parts in it that were like, you had a few little moments here, like Abraham, checking with Eugene on Tara and that, and we can see Tara's okay, so happy to see that. And we had some other little parts here and there that maybe weren't that exciting, but for the most part, it was an awesome finale, and they used the 90 minutes very, very wisely. Man, so let's get it out of the way right off the bat. The intro just had me absolutely just going, man. Morgan finally, spoiler warning, by the way. Morgan finally reaches the group, man. Awesome. And it was how a lot of people predicted in the channel. A lot of people were saying, like, what do you think? Do you think Daryl is going to run into him? Of course, because him and Aaron are scouting. Does that make sense? And yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So you could kind of see it happening before it did. Like when they were trapped inside the car, it's like, oh, how are they going to get out of here? Are they going to kill Daryl? I'm a little bit worried, and then the comment from the other day that they said that AMC had built him, Norman Reedus, 2 bikes for the show that cost like over $100,000. So I'm like, okay, they're not going to kill him, but what's going to happen? And I kind of figured like, okay, Morgan's probably going to save him or something. And sure enough, that was how it went. But the moment when he hands Daryl the map, man, I just love that. You see the map and he just looks down on it and he puts 2 and 2 together like, is this for real? This is our map. Like this is, it's got Rick Grimes. Everyone's going to need Rick Grimes. Awesome, man. So, love the scene at the beginning with Morgan. Thought the stuff with the staff was super badass, and also liked how. Now I was watching it on a stream that lagged a bit, but the gun that the lead wolf had was empty, wasn't it? The gun that he was holding up to Morgan when he went to shoot at the walkers there, it was totally empty. So you can kind of see where the scavengers are at, where the wolves are at. That they have like nothing, like they have nothing, So they base anything they can find, they are holding onto it for dear life. And it makes sense because you have this community nearby of Alexandria with tons of people who they've already gone around this area for years, collecting stuff, going on runs, taking what they can in terms of supplies and bringing them back, that they have not left a lot of stuff out there for other people, other survivors, just basically scraps. And I was also surprised to see, in terms of what we've seen from the wolves so far, it seems like there's only 2 of them, really, right? You have the one guy there who held Morgan at fake gunpoint. Then you had the other one in behind who kind of came out, and Morgan was able to handle them both, but he didn't kill them. He kind of left them there. Smart decision or not, I don't know. You'd think with Morgan he probably would kill them, but hey, for the sake of the story, you got to have some survivors out there. The more characters you kill off, all the storylines that you could use them for are kind of gone there. So I was worried too about Morgan also, because this was a little bit of misinformation they used. Last week's episode, you guys saw the video on the channel this week of the arms from the wolves that Daryl and Aaron saw some bodies that the wolves had left in the girl in the tree. And you can see one of them wearing the same kind of clothing that Morgan wears, even had the same wedding ring and the same finger, on the arms that had been cut off. So I was worried at the beginning that they were just going to straight up kill Morgan. But then I was like, oh man, like the wolves would just kill him then and there. It sure looked bad at the beginning, and it sure added to my excitement. And that's how much effort they're putting into the series, which it must have been done on purpose, that it would match Morgan exactly, even the sunglasses were there and all that. That they kind of put stuff in there beforehand for people that really love the series as misinformation to mislead us. And they did that also with Norman Reedus saying to bring Kleenex to the finale. Why would you bring Kleenex to the finale? It's like it was misinfo. They put misinfo out there. They did it before in the past, too, with T-Dog saying that before season 3, T-Dog was going to get this huge role, and little do we know, he gets killed off in like the 4th episode. But yeah, so they did it again. I'm glad they do it because, as a big fan of the series, as people who were watching it, we're finding out what's going to happen step by step. We're reading all the stuff online and all this stuff, and they're putting stuff out there to mislead us so that we don't see what's going to happen next. And any little Easter eggs, that are there can put us in the wrong direction and add to the suspense when Morgan happens to run into the wolves in the middle of the forest at the beginning of the episode. So a lot of the stuff with the staff was really cool. I love Bo, the Bo staff. Just an awesome weapon, and for a zombie apocalypse, it's great because you got your distance. You can handle. It is good for handling multiple opponents, even though you're always kind of at a disadvantage when you're facing multiple opponents anyway. But I just really loved how Morgan was able to take them both down. Super badass. And then, of course, let's just talk about right off the bat the scene at the end when Rick. I love the way he says it too. He's got that like Rick. It's so like season 3, clear when he I know you, and he says it to him. You just know the voice, right? So when he kills Peter, when she tells Rick to do it, and he shoots Peter down, executes him, Morgan looks at him like he can't recognize him. He just walks in and he sees this guy who's got blood everywhere, just executes this guy in front of everybody without hesitation. Like he just does it like it's instant. We know it needs to be done and we do it. In a second, boom, he just does it. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't think about it. He just does it like a machine, just instantly. And then, of course, this happens to be the moment when Morgan runs into him. So I loved it, man. I just loved the way it was shot and everything. And Rick's like looking at him, and they're just looking at each other, having this moment where it's like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? Is this even him? Because at this point in time, it almost seems like Morgan's head is probably on straighter than Rick's compared to when we saw him in Clear. So really awesome stuff and very satisfying with getting to see Morgan again, finally getting to see him run into the group. And he survives. Yeah, so very happy with that because a lot of us were talking about that. So I'm hoping Lenny James will be a regular for Season 6. I'll let you guys know if he is, if they release news. They usually do within about a month or so of who the season regulars are going to be for next season because they're always promoting certain actors and actresses to season regulars because some are being killed off. So I'm sure that Morgan will get a lot of time in Season 6 since we haven't seen him for a very long time, and him and Rick have a lot of catching up to do. So that for me was the biggest takeaway in the episode. The best thing about the episode. I just love to see that. Love to see, Season 5, you go through, it's like Morgan's finally, he's there, but he's not. And in the beginning, you think he's going to catch up soon, but then you realize that he isn't because of the tree growth. And then by the end of the season, he finally catches up with the group. Awesome. Loved it. So the Wolves, my thoughts on the Wolves. Well, I thought they would be stronger than they are. Only having two guys, as them being the Wolves, and they haven't specifically stated, but they, Aaron does say that they had cast out Alexander Davidson, so they cast out 3 people, 2 guys and a female, and now we see the Wolves that are, 2 guys. So does that mean that the ones that were cast out, the Wolves are, Alexander Davidson, and the other one is the other guy that they had cast out? Or what is the situation with that? Is one of them Derek or not? We'll have to wait, till Season 6, or at least until the trailer before we have some info on what they're all about, just some more info. But right off the bat, from what we can tell already, they're obviously crazy. Clearly. They obviously go to a tremendous length. Maybe they can't find food because they're too busy setting up elaborate zombie booby traps for people. Like, what? What is the point? You see, like, it's got all this wiring and stuff. They've got, like, a remote control for it. I'm like, what is this? Okay, it's a little over the top. It's a little bit over the top, I'll admit. 2 guys alone in a zombie apocalypse. Well, they would have a lot of time in their hands if they've been out there for a long time. And since they're scavengers and they don't let anyone join them, they just keep killing people and taking their stuff, right? Even with Morgan, like all of his skills and stuff, they would be so lucky to have a guy like him on their team, right? But instead, they take the other route and they try to kill him, and it backfires, and they almost get killed themselves. But Morgan decides not to kill them, to leave it up to zombies, and they are lucky to survive. But yeah, they definitely go to a quite the lengths to set up some elaborate zombie booby traps, which I'll admit was exciting, but I felt it was a little over the top. But that said, people in zombie apocalypse, like I said, they would have a lot of time on their hands. So, who knows? But then, you have them caught in the vehicle. Really exciting as well, too. Morgan saves them. They leave. Awesome stuff. And then, of course, a scene at the end with them that they're just brutal. They kill the guy with the overcoat that was masking himself, the guy in the orange. Again, when we saw him, I wasn't sure, like, is he a member of the Wolves or not? Man, these two guys are pretty, they've been busy. If you look at all the zombies that have W's in their foreheads, and like what they did to Charwilt Estates. And I'm also wondering too, are there more members of the group that we just didn't see in a different location or something? Or what is the case here? But it does make sense that they would never attack Alexandria, even if they knew it was there, because there's only two of them, and Alexandria's got all these people. So how could they possibly see themselves as winning that unless they have more manpower? So we'll have to see more before we can really comment more on the Wolves. But so far, from what we've seen so far, they're pretty scary and pretty dark. The one with the gun with the dark hair almost reminded me a bit of Martin, a little bit, not entirely, but I got a little bit of that similar type of feel, really dark, crazy, gloomy type of villain character. So they were exciting. So all the other stuff we had in the episode, I mean, we had a lot of different things happening at once in this episode, all throughout. You had the stuff with Peter, of course, with the he gets the sword, I guess, and he kills Reg, and then Deanna allows Rick to kill him, or asks him to, basically, because at that moment she is basically shown what the world is at that time in the zombie apocalypse, and how easily people can be killed, and how you have to really control who's a part of your group and who isn't. And they do have a good number of people in Alexandria that are not, with the program, or they're incompetent, or they're not beneficial to the overall group, like Gabriel leaving the damn gate open, because those zombies could have gotten in behind somebody or attacked somebody at night, and they wouldn't have even seen it coming. So there was all that. We had the stuff with Rick killing the zombies, which was pretty exciting. We had, the terrace scene I mentioned, which was pretty good. We had Glenn and Nicholas fighting it out. So that was pretty exciting, especially when Nicholas just shot him. Just shot him in the the upper, near your collarbone right here in the shoulder. And then after, when they're fighting, he's pressing on it. So that was pretty brutal too. But, I was surprised that Glenn didn't kill him again. But it kind of goes back to that whole thing that we got to see with Tyrese, of whether or not, there are good guys. Are they willing to kill? Which ones are, which ones aren't? And Glenn has always kind of been on the fence. So I do see it as within character that even at that point, even after Nicholas tried to kill him and everything that happened, even still, he doesn't just kill Nicholas. Glenn doesn't just shoot him dead, right? He can't, or he feels like he can't. Because I was thinking too, if he was going to do it, he probably would have done it before with what happened to Noah afterwards, and he probably should have. But now he's giving him a second chance. Now I think we've seen resolution to the whole problem between them. It's kind of like when they fight it out. You let guys fight it out; they gain a mutual respect for one another type deal. Well, not with Rick and Peter, but with Glenn and Nicholas. Sometimes it works out that way, right? And I feel like we did get to see that in this one, and it was pretty exciting. I was a little bit worried there about Glenn being killed off at that moment as well, too, especially after he got shot, that's for sure. So then the other two things really were, we had the stuff with Michonne and Sasha, and her also almost killing Gabriel, because it seems like at this point Gabriel wants to die. He can't forgive himself for locking himself in and not letting anybody else in, not saving absolutely anybody, and his own inner demon. So I liked in this episode how it kind of made you think of who really is the bad guy. Gabriel goes and tells Deanna this, but does he even see him? Is he doing that because he really does feel Rick's group is evil when they saved him? And they will, Rick's group will save people, if the situation is right and they feel the person deserves or the person is trustworthy, they will help them, right? Like they did with Gabriel. Whereas Gabriel, even though he's got, all of the, his career and everything, he's a pastor and everything, at the same time, he wouldn't do that. So when you talk about evil or good, with regards to that, at least, he can't forgive himself for it. And Rick and their group never really, sometimes here and there, like in season 3, for example, the guy on the road who they drove past and clear, they left him. But most of the time, they will, if they see somebody in jeopardy, in need, in trouble, they will a lot of the time, help them, like they did with Gabriel, because they didn't have to, but they saved him and they let him join them and they kept him safe from the Terminus people. If they had stumbled upon him, they would have eaten him, right? Brutal, right? So yeah, so they did save Gabriel. I shouldn't say they always do because of that guy in season 3 and some others along the way. But for the most part, if they see somebody who seems good, they will help them out. They will save them. So I thought that was good stuff too. Let's see, going on from there, the Michonne stuff with the sword at the end was kind of cool. How she puts it on, kind of the extra scene at the end, and the wolf stuff, really setting us up for what should be a great season 6. The biggest thing I'm most excited for is Morgan, to see, in season 6 what they do with him, how they use him in the series, and I hope he gets a lot of time. Of course, the wolves should be great to see, really exciting to see, what's going to happen with them. Are they going to attack Alexandria? Do they have more members? Because obviously they've been busy. They've done a lot of big things, in terms of even just marking zombies. There's zombies all over the place with damn W's in their heads, like Char Wilt and everything like that. So they've definitely been busy. If it's just 2 of them, I am kind of surprised. I was thinking it would definitely be more. So we'll have to see if they're more of a threat, if they have more people, or if it's just the 2, and kind of how they use that in season 6. And yeah, everything else, of course, too. What's going to happen now that Peter's dead, Rick has killed him, and where's Rick going to go from here on out? As well as the people of Alexandria, are they going to forgive Rick now? I'd say 100% they would, and now they will pretty much see him as one of the leaders in the community. If not, Deanne is still there, of course, but she's going to be grieving the loss of her husband. And you also have Rick there, who's willing to deal with the now, who's willing to deal with the dangerous things that happen on a daily basis, and eventually, probably in season 6, the wolves. So in terms of the score, now this was one of the best finales we've had, because it really sealed the deal for the season, bringing Morgan back to, not back to, but bringing him to, the survivors group, which is something that was set out from the beginning. So it kind of closes that sort of him catching up storyline. We see what's going on with the wolves. We got an idea about that. So it was a really nice cap for the end of the season, and also set us up for some great stuff for season 6 without giving us a huge cliffhanger. The story's not over, so it's kind of left with a lot more that's going to be happening, of course. But at the same time, it closed off enough of what we saw from season 5. So I really, really liked it a lot. Is it the best finale we've had? I think that's a topic for its own video. We can compare it to some of the other finales, and I'll give my thoughts, and we'll look more closely. It's definitely one of them, and the fact that it was 90 minutes definitely helped as well, too. In terms of score, I think I'm going to give this one about a 9.7. It's damn near close to perfect. We did get to see some big zombie scenes. We maybe could have seen a few more with a bigger number of zombies. But hey, you know what? It was a great episode nonetheless, and I did definitely feel it. It was awesome, as was 15 and 14, and it's been all around my favorite season so far. So, could go on a little bit longer, but I think I'll seal it here, just because, don't want to go on for too long for the review. So let me know what you guys thought about the season finale. I loved it a lot. They're definitely taking their time with the comic book storyline, because they didn't cover as much as a lot of us thought they might. But there are a lot of different things that happen. And, Morgan finally meeting up was a huge thing. Peter and the death of Peter and Reg were pretty big as well, too. And then, of course, you had the fight with Glenn and Nicholas. Did like the finale, even though we didn't have what we expected, which was some deaths on the survivor side, like our core group side. We didn't see that, which I was a bit surprised, because I thought we were going to see at least one. But again, they throw some info out there for us. It's a good thing too, because then we can't always predict where they're going to go with it, like what happened with Tyrese, who I didn't see that coming at all. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Write your comments below. I'll have the predictions for the first episode of season 6 posted for you guys, because I always do that after each episode. We talk about what we think is going to happen next. That'll be posted within an hour, so check it in the channel if you're watching this after Sunday night. It should be there ready for you. And if you're new to the channel, you want to subscribe, like I said in the intro, bottom left, just click the button to subscribe. That's all you got to do. It takes a couple minutes to sign up for a YouTube account if you don't have one, and I would appreciate it if you would. Aside from that, I'll see you guys for the predictions video. Hope you liked season 5. I loved it. Lots of videos to come this week. Of course, we'll do a top 5 moments from the episode, do the predictions, do some discussion topics, some Q&As. Send me your questions, whatever you guys got. Don't forget to like the video and favorite if you wouldn't mind. And that's it for this one, guys. See you for the predictions in a little bit. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace.